Welcome to part two of Algorithms in Advertising. In this episode, we're going to get into optimization. Now, optimization is the biggest difference between digital advertising and the 100 years of advertising that came before it. In all those years, it was unusual to get much, if any, information on advertising campaigns when they were running. In digital advertising, you get tons of information on advertising as they're running. And this was true from the very beginning of digital advertising way back in the 90s. So when you get data, you can change the parameters of your advertising campaign to improve its performance. So that becomes the basis of automating decisions in advertising, which we'll talk about next time. Here in episode 2, we're going to talk about the human algorithm, which is the things people do to optimize campaigns while they're running, usually at the same time that a mechanical algorithm is automating decisions. So it's very important to cover what the people are doing. A lot of people are aware of teams of advertising professionals who operate advertising technology and optimize campaigns, but not everyone knows what they do, and it's interesting to cover. So this is a simplification, but a fair representation of what's done, the human method of optimizing campaigns. So let's take a situation when running a campaign. It could be for phones or razors or toilet paper. It could be for treadmills or bicycles or subscriptions. But we're going to say it's a back to school campaign because that's the time of year it is as I record this in New York City. And we're selling backpacks for kids. So in our backpack campaign, the client has gave us a target CPA, that's cost per acquisition, of $20. A budget of $3,000 a week, and they gave us 4 weeks to hit that goal of a $20 CPA. They've also advised us to run 3 tactics, advertising tactics, and note here that these 3 advertising tactics can be mapped to the advertising funnel. They are remarketing, is a tip of the funnel tactic, advertising only to people who reached our backpack website. Lookalike, this is a bigger audience of people who have similar data qualities to people who purchased our back-to-school backpack last year. And the biggest audience is category buyers. This is also coming from data. Everyone who we believe has a child that will be going back to school this fall. And that's the biggest audience. So our backpack marketer is starting all these at the same budget level. So there's $3,000 to spend, and they say $1,000 each. And in doing this, the marketer is actually taking a scientific stance, right? The marketer is intuitively or literally aware of the tension between brand advertising and direct response advertising we talked about in part 1. And is saying, well, let's run an experiment. We'll give the same budget to the smaller tip of the funnel audience, the mid-funnel audience, and the biggest top of the funnel audience, and we'll see what produces the most conversions. And after week 1, you see a result like this. So the reality that the advertiser might not have considered is that the machine algorithm is very much a direct response advertiser. So it is not tuned to do the brand advertising thing of generating awareness that ripens into consideration. It is looking for immediate response. And of course, it finds the most in remarketing. It drives 60 conversions, Lookalike drives 30, and the category buyers drives only 10. So the human algorithm comes into play in week 2. The human operator is going to put more of budget in remarketing, and a little less in both lookalike and category buyers, right? The marketer realizes that the $30 CPA they hit in the first week is $10 from goal. They need more money where the CPA is under goal, which is only remarketing at 17. So week 2, 1,500 in remarketing, 900 in lookalike, 600 in category buyers. They drive 123 conversions, and the CPA comes out to 24. So, all right, we're on the right track. And the next month, we're going to move another $400 over into remarketing. This time, we drive 144 conversions, We've pretty much maxed out remarketing. Remember, it's a small audience. It's constrained by the number of people that hit the site, but we're only $1 away. So unable to hit the budget button anymore, the human algorithm would call to change frequency. So frequency is a setting that limits the amount of ads every user in the audience can get. So if you think about the user pool as people at a card table, if you're going to deal out a whole deck of cards, right, the fewer people at the table, the more cards they all get. That's how to think about reach and frequency. If you deal out fewer cards to every person, you could get a lot more people at the table, and that's the opposite of frequency. That's called reach. So in this remarketing tactic, because it's under goal, we're going to move frequency up, and in the other ones that are above goal, we're going to move frequency down. So the reach improves. So what happens in each of these categories is in remarketing, it's already maxed out. So any more spend in here is essentially burning it, since you can't raise the budget. Spending more frequency in here is a way to burn that budget while staying under goal. So that's what increasing frequency in remarketing is. And interestingly, when you improve the reach, reduce the frequency, and lookalike and category buyers, what happens is just what the brand marketer top of funnel predictive model would suggest, that you actually drive a few more conversions. So these two do a little better because you've actually reached a few people who make it to the bottom of the funnel now that you've improved your reach. So even though you've done nothing in remarketing, this improvement gets you down your last dollar, and hooray, the human algorithm succeeds. You've achieved your goal of a $20 CPA within 4 weeks. Now, because the human algorithm and the machine algorithm in this case, and we'll talk about the machine algorithm more in the next episode, are a bit biased toward the DR model, we want to bring in and make sure everyone understands what we covered in episode 1, which is the brand critique of the DR model around incrementality. Now, the clearest explanation of incrementality I ever heard comes from a marketer named Nathan Woodman, who tells a story about handing out coupons at the cash register. So in this story, and Nathan says it's from his youth, he had a family member who owned a store in the mall and would employ the kids in an advertising campaign to drive customers to their mall store. He would write the name of each kid on a stack of coupons and send them out in the mall and say, every time a coupon is redeemed that has your name on it, right, you get a prize, you get $1. So the store owner was thinking they would go out in the mall and enthusiastically hand out coupons and compete to bring the most customers. But one clever kid figures out that if he gives the coupons to people who are already standing in line at the mall store, they'll all be redeemed, right? So it's easy to see this kid did not drive any new customers to the mall store, right? They handed out coupons at the cash register. And in a way, it's a perfect predictive DR model in that everyone seemed to respond. Everyone who got the message followed with a purchase, right? So that really points out the flaw in some DR marketing. And if you do DR marketing right, this can happen for reasons we'll explain later. But to say that in a very simple direct response advertising model, there's always this incentive to hand out coupons at the cash register. And in this case, where you lay out the levels of the funnel and the human algorithm and the machine algorithm are biased toward DR, you get a result a lot like this. So it looks like you drove 152 conversions for your money, but there's always the possibility that you drove the same amount of conversions as you would have drove without advertising, right? The same amount that came in or the same amount that came in week 1 at 100, and everything you did that you called optimization, and after that was essentially handing out coupons at the cash register. So that's episode 2. Feel free to send questions to Adam at Chalice AI. In episode 3, we're going to talk about the machine algorithm and make sure we understand what it's doing. Thanks.